There we go. Okay. All right. I know I got the microphone working now. Um, yeah, we're going to leave that there. Okay. So, me talking take two. Welcome to Lady Vinyl Gaming here on this Tuesday night, here for Story Hour. We're about to start our new story, which is Vampire the Masquerade Out for Blood. These are text-based games, so it's really boring to watch as far as what's on the screen, because after our last one, which I believe was Shadows of New York, yeah, Shadows of New York was the last one we did. After that, the studios that put these together got really fast-tracked to put these out. So what they ended up starting to do was to just put the words on a screen. Like, I am actually staring at a white screen with the words on them. It is a very boring thing to see. But this is Story Hour, so it's a chance for you to just sit back and enjoy the story. This one in particular, to my understanding, is being done from the point of view of members of the Inquisition. For those of you who are not familiar with Vampire the Masquerade's world, the vampires kind of live in secret. They do not... that's what the masquerade refers to. They're trying to hide who they are from the general public, because the theory is that if they are exposed, then the Inquisition, the folks whose point of view this is coming from, will be sent to exterminate them. The Inquisition is part run by the Vatican. It is also partly run by other... I'm not going to say heads of state, but groups within governments. So yeah, just getting my PJs on and lurking. All right, Tally, go for it. I'll be honest with you all. I'm already in my PJs. That's part of the reason this is Story Hour. I can be in whatever I want. My face does not come up on the screen. But if you are enjoying this, Friday night we do the Friday Night Fright, which is when we do a scary group game, usually either Phasmophobia or Dead by Daylight. And I am very much not in PJs for that. On Sundays, we do a general gaming stream. If my friend Amanda is here to join me, we'll be doing one of the Legos games. Right now we're doing Legos DC Supervillains. If she is not able to join me, then I am doing the Dragon Age series right now, still on Dragon Age Origins. Also, if you enjoy this stream, you're more than welcome to go over to OnlyFans, where I also produce video game content, just in a lot less clothes. So yeah, all of the content that appears here on Twitch is available on the YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to go there as well and check up on any of the previously issued items. Any of the stuff on OnlyFans, however, right now is staying on OnlyFans. It may get edited and cut up to go onto other paid sites, but it is only and solely available on OnlyFans. As I was saying, this week we're starting Vampire the Masquerade Out for Blood, from the point of view of the Inquisition. And we are starting now with Episode 1. Chapter 1. Jericho Heights. Come freely, go safely, and leave something of the happiness you bring. Quoted from Bram Stoker's Dracula. Just after merging onto I-80, your grandfather's college graduation gift sputters and grinds. A fitting acknowledgement that only 10 miles of road remain between you and your childhood nightmares. The old Ford Taurus has seen better days. And today the red beast is is coughing smoke. At least no other cars follow, so you take your time through the wide highway. As you see a sign for Stillview Reservoir, you recall a shortcut. Jericho Heights rests in an ocean of farmland, and taking back roads through Long Valley Park is less mileage to put on the red beast. Dusk has turned to night, and you're only a few miles from your grandfather's home. The engine groans as you bear right, taking the exit for the reservoir. Red and white oak line each side and hang overhead, like silent sentinels, blocking all but slivers of moonlight. Your grandfather would take you here as a kid for nature walks, bird watching, day camping. When you were older, he'd test your survival skills by leaving you deep in the center of the park to find your way home. You learned the trails and landmarks, learned to move by following the stars or the sun. All the learning didn't stop the signatures of terrible things lurking. One day, you began to notice your grandfather stalking nearby, keeping watch over you. You never let on that you knew. It's how you know there's someone tracking you now. But this time, it's not your grandfather. That would be impossible anyway. He died 2 weeks ago. You're heading to Jericho Heights to handle his affairs, in fact. This feels more like a symptom before an illness. A scratchy throat, an upset stomach, a fever. You grip the wheel as you scan the forest. Nothing but trees. Something flashes from the right. You hear a loud thump on your right front bumper, and the red beast jerks left. Losing control, the car spins and skids like tires caught ice. The car slows as it hits grass, and you twist the wheel back to the road. In your rearview mirror, you catch a glimpse of a figure standing at the edge of the brush, catching its side. A moment later, it falls back, disappearing into the greenery. Your mind reels at the thought of hitting someone. Maybe a hiker? You lift your phone. 0 bars. Of course, out here in the middle of the park, there's no signal. The engine sputters and cuts out. You turn the ignition, but it won't turn over. Great. Now you're stuck. Did you hit someone? Is it safe to be out here? Doesn't this seem like the start of a bad horror movie? I can. First I want to check out the stat check indicator is known as storyteller mode. Stay in the car where it's safe and try to get it to start back up. Jump out and check the damage to my car. Whoever's stupid enough to be on the road deserves getting hit. Stay in the car and see if I can get my phone to work to call for help. Step out, check on the figure. I'm more worried about whoever I hit than my car. So, first things first. I do actually think, let's see. I do think I want to actually switch to the game capture. So we're going to do that first. I have a lot of things running. Okay. Let's see if this works. No, maybe not. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna remove that. Oh, it doesn't work. Huh. Game capture, properties, out for blood, yep, to the cursor, transparency, use the anti-cheat hook, hook rate's gonna go normal, let's see, no, it doesn't start up, huh. Okay. Well then, I guess we're gonna go back to doing the thing. Let's see, we'll do that. And then we'll do that. And then we do this thing. Okay. So, getting back to the story, we're going to step out and check on the figure because I'm more worried about whoever I hit than the car. You step out from the car and walk to the shoulder, moving in short, measured paces. Something doesn't feel right about this place, but you need to search for the person you struck. A cold wind gusts, and you hug your body to keep warm. You've never known a July night in Jericho Heights to leave you wanting a jacket. In the dim moonlight, the park has taken on a haze. You can barely see 5 feet ahead, and only stop when you kick something where the road meets grass. A thick tree limb lies in the brush, one end broken and jagged, moist with sap. Something must have just ripped it down. Leaving it, you step into the tree line to search for the figure your car hit. The woods are thick with darkness, but you continue. Stepping only a few yards into the park, you see no signs of broken twigs or flattened grass, and no path an injured person could have taken. Your grandfather taught you how to read your surroundings. His words still play in your mind. These woods will answer you. Just ask the right questions. You walk another few yards, and now a mist rises from the floor of the park. Grass breaks on your right. Something crosses overhead. An echoing howl to your left. What could it be? A wildcat? No. Cats don't make that sound. Are there evil goblins haunting the woods? Are you alone? A voice calls from all around, high-pitched and melodic, like spoken words in a song. Are you afraid? The voice asks. You turn, searching for the source of that voice. Funny to call it a source. A person made that sound. Or did they? Could it be the wind? Is your mind playing tricks on you? Or is your mind playing tricks on you? Fear seeps in, but you force it away. As a child, you were lost in the woods many times. You're no child now. Who are you? Show yourself. You scan the trees, turning in a complete circle. You can't see anything in the mist and darkness. The night air blows cold now. The night air blows colder now, raising the tiny hairs on your arm. You shiver and start walking through the woods to warm up and get your blood pumping. Somehow, you make a circle back to your car. Properties. Testing. There we go. Alright. Something out there in the park, only a few yards from your car. If it want to hurt you, if it wants to hurt you, why hasn't it? Is any of this even real? You pinch yourself to check that you're not asleep. You flinch from the pain. Oh, I know what I did. There we go. Tally, can you hear me now? I hope. Maybe. Possibly. Wait a minute. Let me do this. Can I hear me? Yep. No. I can hear you now. Okay, cool. Thanks, Johnny B. Yeah, alright. Thanks, Tally. Something is out there in the park, only a few yards from your car. If it wants to hurt you, why hasn't it? Is any of this even real? You pinch yourself to check that you're not asleep. You flinch from the pain. Of course you're not asleep. That's not how these stories should start. You try to start the red beast, but the engine fails to turn. You have no choice but to step outside and pop the hood. At first glance, you see nothing wrong. It's an old car with old parts, and you haven't changed the battery in years. The connection to the engine looks loose, so you jiggle it until it seems tighter. Something moves nearby, pulling your focus away from the car. You spot a streak of white through the dark and follow it to a lone branch in a line of trees just beyond the edge of the woods. A form takes shape, and you can almost make out someone watching you. A sudden wailing overtakes the park, a thundering roar from the sky. It consumes the trees, echoing through them with a crackle, encompassing all other sounds. Your body tenses, limbs seized with fear and anticipation. Low clouds roll in, dark and heavy against the deep blue sky. Your eyes turn to the figure on the trees, but it's gone. A sapling sways and then a bush rustles. The thing is moving closer to your car. Your heart races. Despite the cold, your skin feels hot, like the worst fever. Your jaw clenches. Is this what terror feels like? A figure steps out from the darkness. She's young, maybe toward the end of her teens. She wears a baggy dark sweatsuit with blocks of white on the arms and legs, and her hair looks silver in the moonlight. "What's up?" she says, and sits on a tangle of roots shaped like a stool. "You're not from Jericho, right?" "Are you the one I hit with my car?" I ask. She runs a hand through her hair and pushes it all to the right side. Streaks of black show from the roots. Her skin is pale white. It almost glows in the moonlight, and she has a powerful jawline like the darkest and deepest eyes you've ever seen. "Wait. Oh fuck, I've seen you before. I know your grandfather. How's he doing?" "He passed away a few weeks ago. How did you know him?" Her eyes go wide. "Passed away? My God, he was so nice to me. He was one of the nicest people in the whole psycho town." "So you shopped at his store or lived near him? Everyone knows your Gramps. He was beloved. God, I wish I knew he died before today." She blows out a long sigh until her lips flutter and make a raz. "All right, I guess I'm out." She rises from the ground and starts away into the trees. "You're going? Okay, see ya." She waves curtly. "I doubt you'll see me again. Maybe. Better you don't." She walks away. You watch the darkness in the forest consume her. What a strange encounter on a strange night. You climb back in the car and turn the key. The engine starts. Finally. You pull the red beast onto the road. Gaining speed, you leave the scene behind along with the young woman. When you adjust your rearview mirror, you can't find her in the reflection. A minute later, you're driving along the center of the lane, illuminated by moonlight through the clear sky. Whatever you just experienced defies logic. None of it makes sense. The girl, the wailing cry, her being out here alone, even the sudden cold lacks explanation. I'm freaking out. Something tells me I'm still in danger. The last 10 minutes keep playing over and over in your mind. You feel like you're in danger, even though you're miles away by now. Was she trying to set you up? Rob you? Something worse? It felt like a game, but you don't know the rules. You keep checking the mirrors, but no one follows. You've got to calm down. Your hands hurt and you loosen your grip on the steering wheel. Excuse me, sorry about that. Your hands hurt and you loosen your grip on the steering wheel. Sweat runs down your back, making you itch. You take some deep breaths. This is no way to go home. A roadside reads Village of Jericho Heights. Next exit. Close now, you perk up at the sight of the first few houses on the outskirts. A steeple juts above the treetops in the distance, the Episcopal Church of Jericho Heights. Religion has always been important here. Your grandfather believed in a divine power, but also believed in other things. He gave you a chemistry set for your 10th birthday and took you hiking to point out medicinal plants. He pushed you into studying math and science. He spoke to his ancestors in his dream and read fortunes in tea leaves. You could never pinpoint his beliefs in any one philosophy or tradition. He seemed to like it like that. Grandpa was a powerful figure in other ways. He was physically fit with an unmatched fortitude, and he was one of the most likable social people you've ever known. He ran a store in town his whole life, but always pushed you towards a different career. Okay, so the choices are, I trained to be a professional athlete, but more than just working out, I was a leader on the field. Or my plans changed when I got involved in a life of crime. Or I went to the police academy, where I not only learned how to fire a gun, but also how to resolve problems without violence. Or, like my grandfather, I had a connection to the occult. Besides learning to tap into the spirit world, I learned how to get people to pay me for my work. Ooh, that kind of sounds interesting. Um, or joining ROTC in college, I planned on a military life. Or the last choice, my interest in science had me planning for a doctoral fellowship. I kind of like my grandfather, I had a connection to the occult. Besides learning to tap into the spirit world, I learned how to get people to pay me for my work. Your grandfather trained you from an early age to respect the many forces in the extra-natural world. Even when you weren't visiting your grandfather, you kept up your studies and learned as much as possible in such matters as fortune-telling, contacting spirits, and placing hexes. After years in the pursuit, you consider yourself, a field practitioner, a fortune teller, or a scholar. I'm going with a field practitioner. After many nights spent in the wilderness, I'm attuned to nature's spiritual flow. You spent time not only in the parks around Chicago, but also in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, camping, canoeing, and hiking trails. You learned to observe those elements connected to the spirit world. You developed the ability to tap into these supernatural forces to divine the future or to curse others, though every time you draw from other worlds, you lose a part of yourself. I like the occult one personally. Thank you, Tally. I kind of like that one. I had to go with it. While you enjoyed being in a small town for the summers in your childhood and teenage years, the big city of Chicago, Chi-Town, the Windy City, you gained a lot from living there the rest of the year. You explored all the diverse communities, from the North Side and Gold Coast to Cabrini Green to Chinatown and the South Side. Mostly, you built up a great deal of contacts, people I can call on for favors. While in Chicago, you met a number of people in numerous walks of life you can call on for information and favors. Often these contacts will do things for you out of respect, but other times they may require something in return. Ahead of you, the road divides. You take the road to the left toward the south part of town and your grandfather's store. You lean forward to glance at the road ahead, and sure enough, you spot a deep pothole. It's been there since you were a teenager. Glancing over to the passenger seat, you imagine your grandfather sitting there, telling you to avoid the crater at mile marker 9. Red and blue lights flash. Red and blue. Wow, let's try that again. Red and blue flashing lights draw your attention from behind. The siren blares once, then twice, and you pull to the shoulder. In the rearview mirror, you spent a DeKalb County Sheriff's Officer cruiser, rolling to a stop behind your car. A crisp, clean, uniformed woman steps out. Her hair sits in the tightest bun you've ever seen. She takes out a notepad as she approaches. You cut the engine and roll down the window, letting in the night air and the sound of crickets. "Evening," she says and leans on the hood of the beast. "License, registration, proof of insurance?" You flip down your sun visor and paper flutters down. "Sure, one moment," you say, and scramble to gather them from the floor, dashboard, and between the two seats. She blows out a grumbling sigh. How about we start with your name? I can run it quick." "Right, my name..." "My name is Sky." You look at the deputy's name tag. April Meyer. "Where do you know that name from?" "And your last name?" Maya asks, wrapping her fingers on the car's hood. A flashlight comes from her belt, and she shines it on the car. In the glow, you can now see a diamond-shaped scar under her right eye. "Thompson." Maya nods. "Thank you." Maya nods, her lips tight. "Thank you, ma'am. Be right back. Stay put." You collect the documents as she walks away, piling them in your hand. You look out the window back at Deputy Maya. The bright headlights from her cruiser cast an eerie glow around her wiry frame, turning her tan complexion pale. She taps on a thick handheld device like an illuminated pack of cigarettes. Her square jaw pokes out even further while she concentrates on the device. Something hits your windshield and scrapes across it. You jump. Twisting in your seat, you spot a single twig sitting in the middle of the plexiglass. Footsteps pound the ground near your car, and you twist again. It's Maya. You think fast. You have no idea why she even pulled you over. Does it have to do with that stranger lurking in the woods? Should you tell the deputy about her? How can you get out of this? See, that's the thing. This doesn't let you know and use your choices in the story. Show stats, restart achievement menu. Nope, we're going back to the game. You ask her if she's seen somebody in the woods a little while back. She shakes her head at you. "No, I haven't seen anyone here tonight except you. Now, how about your paperwork?" You hand her your ID and other documents. While she inspects them, you say, "I thought it was strange to see someone out in the woods this time of night. I didn't think people camped this far from Jericho Heights." As she hands you back your paperwork and parts her lips to speak, her walkie-talkie buzzes and beeps. She lifts it from her belt and presses the button. Go for car 4. A long delay of static passes. April, you car 4? She sighs and turns away. Yes, Miss Mabel. You know I drive car 4. You near the market? We need creamer and some of those tea biscuits the sheriff likes. Oh, heck. Can't you get Bernard to do it? She moves away from your car, and you can't hear more of the conversation. She's only gone for a few moments, and then returns, face red, as she slips the walkie-talkie back in her belt. We gotta move this along. You know you got damage to your car? The right bumper is dinged up and the headlight's hanging. It may be safe to drive, but you need to get it fixed. Technically, I could write you a citation, but if you promise to take care of it, I'll give you a pass. Thanks for letting me know. I'll get it fixed the next chance I have. I appreciate the deputy for letting me know. She gives the hood a tap like she's stamping approval. That's great to hear. Over in Jericho Heights there's some body shops that could take care of it for you. I can't recommend any as it's a conflict of interest, but everyone in town is fair and honest. A tree rustles several yards away, and you track movement through a tangle of branches. A momentary gleam of red moves through the dead space and disappears. Deputy Maya scratches her chin. Let me ask you something. You know anyone down here in the Heights? I figured that's where you're heading, and you share the name of a store owner from there. Goes by the same last name as yours, Thompson. Yes, my grandfather. I see no reason to lie. For the first time, she smiles. I knew it. You sure remind me of him. How's he doing? Still as ornery as I bet. He once chased me out of his shop with a broom. Of course, this is when I was a troublemaking teenager. I was about to go in and ask for a change of 20 and pennies and then toss them up in the air and yell, pennies from heaven! Not sure why we even thought that it was funny. So how's your Gramps? Unfortunately, he passed away 2 weeks ago. That's sort of what brings me here, I say. Maya blows out a sigh. Gosh, I'm so sorry. I hadn't heard he passed. I've been off duty for a few weeks, moving my mother to Aurora. She got a job running a trucking company. Shame to hear about Mr. Thompson. Thanks. I appreciate it. She steps away from your car and stares at the long stretch of highway. I recommend you get to where you're going and fast. Darkness is thick and never know if something's coming. Weather, I mean. 1 minute everything's calm and the next... Anyway, I've taken enough of your time. Go ahead and have a good night. Be safe. A long howl emanates from the park. Maya hastens to her cruiser, stumbling over her feet as she spins. When she bends, the nightstick slips from her belt and she fumbles to grab it. From across the road, a shadow crosses from tree to tree, growing tall and wide and then shrinking to something human-shaped. Red ovals cut through the dark, slanting and piercing, with a sliver of black cutting the middle, like the eyes of a demon cat. Go! Go! Maya yells to you, waving her hand like she's swimming against the current. Fog floats out of the park, snaking across the ground in tendrils toward the deputy, and moves around her car, swallowing it. Your skin crawls. You hear her heartbeat, sudden and pounding, with the open road ahead, and Maya stumbling. With the open road ahead and Maya stumbling, you rush out to help her to her car, also to know what's out in the park. You pop out of the car and run low toward Maya. She's staring off into the trees, one hand free, floundering to grab the nightstick. You pick it up, like you're handing off a baton in a relay race. You place the nightstick in her hand, and she darts for her cruiser, slamming her hips into the front hood as she rushes around to the driver's side. Go on! She yells, yanking open the driver's side. Get out of here! You jog back to the red beast and jump inside. Darkness swells behind you. A sudden shudder overtakes your body. Whether it's the bleak coldness or some sense of flight, your arm shakes and your teeth chatter. Your vision tilts from side to side like you're riding a wave, pressing your foot to the gas pedal. The old car lunges forward. A scream cries out from the roadside, but you fight the urge to turn. At the on-ramp, you shake your head violently until your vision clears. Bright highway lights illuminate the road. The yellow lines on the asphalt guide your path. Back to the open highway, you relax into the last leg of your journey. The fresh night air, laced with the scent of hickory, clears your mind. That harrowing experience is already leaving your thoughts. You touch a charm on the necklace around your throat. You never take it off. It brings you comfort in times of stress. It's a powerful crystal, an object with healing qualities and a connection to the spirit world. You bought it one summer on a trip to Kelly Station, a neighboring town where your grandfather used to travel for business. Archibald's Antiques sold oddities and rarities from the forgotten lands and eras, or so their store motto stated. You bought the blue-green crystal, slipped it on a leather necklace, and have never taken it off. You drive for another mile with steady rain on your windshield. The wipers squeal as they clear the water. An old sign hangs at the post on the next marker. Village of Jackson Heights. Population 19,402. Enter freely, of your own will. You haven't been back to the Heights since a short visit. In college. Before that, you could have considered it a second home. You stayed with your grandfather every summer throughout your childhood and most of your teen years. You helped in your grandfather's store and even made friends. You, Sarah, and Adam were fairly inseparable. Townspeople called you the Three Musketeers, while Grandpa called you the Three Stooges. Both names were right. The summer before you started high school, you all began to go your own way. Once you returned home, you rarely found time to keep in touch with them. Everyone was busy and focused on their own interests. Adam joined the football team as backup quarterback, while participating in the debate team. He was smart and funny, but awkward and lacked confidence. Sarah was the opposite, more of a charmer than an athlete. She was in the most popular clique, played Emily Webb, the lead in our town in senior year, and organized an anti-prom where everyone went to instead. She was also an amazing artist, shipping off on weekends 2 hours each way to take classes in Chicago. Unlike both of them. In high school, you were unlike both of them, and a bit of a free spirit. You were more interested in your own hobbies and interests than academics and athletics, or the many cliques that separated themselves in high school. You found others who shared your interests, though. Adam and Sarah remained your closest friends throughout your childhood. You always felt that drive to continue your education. Whether you took online courses or just watched lots of YouTube videos, friends would teach you things, or you'd seek out knowledge in unconventional ways. I customized my education based on what interests me. Okay. So, now I am at a big set of choices. They have different ratings. So, athletics is a rating 1, awareness is a rating 3, combat is a rating 0, insight is a rating 1, intimidation is a rating 0, investigation is a rating 0, clandestine is a rating 0, leadership is rating 0, occult is a rating 4, persuasion is a 1, science and technology is 0, subterfuge is 0, and survival is a 4. I'm going with survival. Rating 4 provides an ability to navigate in the outdoors, track others through the woods, and hide from others in the wilderness. Okay. So my survival goes from a 4 to a 5. I can't pick that one. Alright, this is kind of neat. I'm doing intimidation. Okay, I have 6 levels left. Five. Okay, so even the rating 0 still count. Oh, and I can re-pick all of them except the survival. Okay. I'm going to do the occult, because that's what we had said. I cannot pick the occult again. I'm going to go with awareness. I have 3 left. I don't want to pick combat, because it just doesn't make sense for this character. I'm going to pick awareness again, which I can't because it's now at a level 5. Okay, so what I'm actually doing is these ratings are what I'm starting at. And I'm picking up insight to 2 and to 3. Okay. So, alright. Okay. So yeah, this has helped put my character together. And actually, I wish I could put it up on the screen. Okay. I will definitely try to remember to do that next time. So yeah. While you spent those years in Chicago, your 2 friends from Jericho Heights remained there. Your relationship with them drifted away, and you can't help but wonder if the 3 of you will ever be the Musketeers again. In fact, you recall the last time you saw them both down by Miller's Creek. Sarah, with her long black hair she always let hang, and her ripped-up jean shorts and Foo Fighters concert t-shirt. Adam in a tank top with the school's logo and a Cubs cap. His dark hair always looked light in the sun. The 3 of you talked about the future, and Adam, always Mr. Practical, predicted how the phone calls and emails would slow down the longer you were all away from each other. Sarah argued with him, saying she would come to visit you in Chicago and never let the distance keep you apart. She only visited once, and that was your fault. You'd made new friends and a new life, and Jericho Heights, along with the people in it, faded to the past. While you loved Adam and Sarah as friends, romance never came into the picture. You were attracted to Sarah, and also liked other girls my age. Once off the highway, you slow the red beast and open the windows farther to let more of the cool nighttime air inside. Sanders Farm pops up on your right with fields of produce and grazing land taking up the southeastern end of Jericho Heights. The smell of sweet corn blows on the wind, bringing back memories of your childhood. From Grandpa's cornbread with tomato jam, of Friday night's buttered popcorn at the Royal Drive-In, of fresh pick ears for shucking and roasting cobs over open fires. On the northern end of the land sits a farmer's market, where the Sanders share space with other local farmers. Everyone in town goes to the bustling market, and the families who set up shop and the people who work there enjoy the status in town it brings. Next, you pass by Gallagher's Tavern, which is the go-to drinking spot for most of the town. From the sign out front, you note that they've added live music on Friday and Saturday nights. You've never actually been in Gallagher's. Further down the road, you spot the First Bank of Jericho Heights, the oldest bank in town. Somehow, despite all the mergers and acquisitions in the financial world over the past 20 years, it's managed to remain independent. The brick-and-mortar building lords over other commercial spaces in the tiny strip of stores. A drive-through teller's been added since last you saw it, and extra parking has crept over, displacing Wilson's Pharmacy, like the bank has bullied the family out. You can picture Mr. Bumpley polishing the brass rails on Saturday morning before opening, on hands and knees with a cleaning cloth and the cleaning solution you've ever and the smelliest cleaning solution you've ever experienced. A cross between burnt eggs, sour apples, and licorice. His dark, slick-back hair and handlebar mustache gave him the appearance of a cartoon villain. In one vivid nightmare, you pictured him tying you to railroad tracks. He took pride in maintaining the property and its original furniture and fixtures, like the bank would be angry at him if he lost its luster. One morning, when you were young, your grandfather, dressed in his Sunday suit... One morning, when you were young, your grandfather, dressed in his Sunday suit, brought you to the bank to watch him sign what you would later learn were loan papers. Mr. Bumpley handled the settlement personally, offering Grandpa a fresh, felt-tipped pen and turning each page for him with a gleam in his eye. You wonder if his soul was listed as collateral under Article 4, Section B. At least anyone who worked with old Marvin Bumpley, or borrowed from his bank, had the benefit of his favor. And this is where we're going to leave it for the day. We are going to come. No, we are not going to be back next week. We're taking a week off because I have a thing to do with the wife. So I'm not going to be able to be here for it. But it will be available the week after. At which point, and I'm going to write myself a few notes so that I remember. I'm going to work to actually have the screen as the background, just so that you can see the other choices that I am not picking, and all of that stuff. And I will also go over my character sheet so that you can see what all of those choices I did the first time around actually resulted in. So, thank you for joining me, and we will see you next time.